GBA, that stands for. So without further ado, I think I can begin my presentation. Let me share my screen in a few. Mm, Can you see my screen? Captain, is my screen okay, fantastic. Yeah, so for starters, let us begin with why age matters and why sustainability. Yeah, so in recent years, I'm sure most of you are quite familiar with climate change, right? Yeah, so with the whole conversation surrounding climate change and all the impact that it has done, um, the construction industry has been a huge contributor of the same. And I am aware nearly 100% of you are doing construction courses. And so it is very, very crucial for you to get the impact that you have on the industry and the environment at large. Statistics show that Kenya, or the global south, that is, we lose an estimated 2% to 5% of our GDP due to losses based on climate. Um, I think, a year back, um, in Aprilish towards May, we also what the rains did to our country. A lot of flooding. At the time, I was still a student. I was attending Kenyatta University, and I remember there was this one day that even the highway got shut down because of rains. Yeah, so and I'm sure most of you who are around town, we have students here from KU, UN, JKUAT. I'm sure most of you saw how how unforgiving nature can be. So climate change now has shifted from just another term out there into something that we can all see, something that we can all experience, and something that is affecting our day-to-day lives, right? For instance, if we miss the timings of our rainy seasons, if we miss the timings of our planting seasons, they come back to affect the basic prices of our commodities. So climate change is not far; it's here with us. And with that in mind, for us to reduce the effects of the same, we need to first of all know what each sector is contributing. So for the construction industry as a whole, we contribute nearly 40% for the global CO2 emissions, right? So be it activities related to the extraction of raw materials related to construction, um, be it activities related to manufacturing, whereby cement, for instance, cement manufacturing, for instance, steel manufacturing, etc. All these activities coupled together and they tally to what is nearly 40% contribution of to CO2 emissions. So this is quite a huge chunk, and we, the professionals currently in the built environment, and you now the people who are in school, who are coming into the industry, we need to take it up as a responsibility to design infrastructure, buildings, systems that are not only green but sustainable for the long term and for future generations. So, Edge is one software that actually helps us in simulating these designs, and it's majorly bent towards construction. Um, so There's also another rising trend with the rise in climate change. There has also been the rise of green jobs. So a lot of people, I think I saw it recently in a report. It said about 66% of the young generation, that is Gen Zs, are quite open to taking up green jobs. Yeah. So you now realize that it's no longer a trend. It's something that's here with us. So having skills in Edge and being proficient with Edge is highly valuable now more than ever to you as a future professional, or to you if you are an ongoing professional. It can really boost your portfolio, and more than just boost your portfolio, it can make your professional contributions much more significant to our industry. So let me proceed. For most of us, for most of you who are keen, or for most of you who majorly follow reports, you are aware that our construction industry, which is classified as real estate and construction, contributes, I think, around 15% to our nation's GDP, right? Agriculture is the first contributor. Agriculture contributes over 20% to our national GDP, and then followed by real estate and construction. The reason as to why real estate and construction is coupled together is because for us who are designing homes or infrastructure, we are designing them for human use. We are designing them for human consumption. And construction, if you would allow me to just define it, those two terms a bit, they'll become relevant as soon as I go into the whole aspect of Edge. Construction basically, you know what it is, just putting up infrastructure, either roads, either buildings, etc., for the use of humanity. And real estate, simply put, is the transaction of now this construction. So you realize there's a huge interdependence between real estate and construction as a whole, right? Because when we do our construction, we are not building, let's say, for animals. Okay, we are building for animals that are humans, but you get. So we are building now these homes to be occupied by people, and now there's a business side towards this construction, which is now real estate. And the reason as why I've decided to highlight that is because financing moves a lot of the industries that we are part of, right? There will be no construction if there will be no finances behind that construction. I decided to highlight that because in my presentation, as you can see, there is an article that says how Gen Zs are redefining the blueprint for urban property ownership. And this article struck me because the current generation, I think we are about 30%. I think we are over 30% of the current, we are about 33% of Kenya's population, which is around 18 million people. With these 18 million people, it means that whatever we lean on, that's where a lot of developers, that's where a lot of people doing construction will tend to see the demand, where the demand is. And one of the trend that is that the Gen Z are redefining is that they want homes that cater towards sustainability, whether be it things to do with small gardens, climate conscious living, self-sufficient buildings, etc. etc. This generation is proving to be more conscious of the actions, right? So with that in mind, now we see there's a lot of demand for eco-conscious homes, and with that demand, a lot of the business people who do development are going to are, are even not going to, they have started actually delivering units that are quite eco-conscious, and I'll be showing you that as we proceed. So on the same issue of green jobs, there are a lot of green jobs out there. Some examples include being an ESG associate. So ESG basically stands for environmental, social, and governance. It's something that we'll look into as we proceed into the course. Just a slight overview. You can also become an ESG consultant, a sustainable construction manager, an energy efficient engineer, a green building certification specialist, a renewable energy project coordinator, an environmental impact analyst, etc. There is quite a rise in green jobs, and that's where the world is headed towards. So equipping yourself with skills in this sector is not only going to boost your portfolio, but will make you quite relevant in the near future. So on to our subject matter today. So what is EDGE? So EDGE basically stands for excellence in designing for greater efficiencies. It is a software that is majorly web-based. By web-based, I mean you can access it just how you access our website, right? It's more of a web app that was created by IFC. So IFC stands for International Finance Corporation. It is the private wing of the World Bank. And the reason as to why I've also decided to make that clear is because you majorly know how the World Bank deals with. World Bank deals with financing, and whoever you see finance leaning towards you, that's where the industry is growing towards. Uh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, so Edge as a software was developed by the World Bank, and it's a free software that has green building standards and has an integrated international certification system within it that basically helps professionals in designing, assessing, and certifying buildings based on the amount of energy they use, the amount of water they use, and the material efficiency that they portray. So for a building to meet its certification requirements, at least 20% savings in energy, water, and embodied carbon materials must be achieved. That's compared to the baseline. So assuming you have your own building, let's say back at home, if you're able to redesign it for it to use 20% less of the energy use, that means the operational energy, be it energy used for heating, for your cooling needs, for the appliances. If you're able to reduce that by 20%, if you're also able to reduce the water consumption, that involves some range of measures such as using low flow faucets, using aerators, and if you're able to reduce the amount of materials by around 20%, then you've met the minimum requirement for EDGE. And EDGE was created by the World Bank, and as I've told you, where you see financing flow towards, that's where the industry is headed towards. Yeah, so the major aim for creating EDGE is that it was launched to meet the urgent need for doing measurable and credible green building standards. We're just adjusting for the different scenarios. Let's say you have a solar water heater, you check off that box. For instance, you are building, let's say you're doing a 3-bedroom bungalow, which is around 150 square meters. That's the internal plinth. Let's say you want to do solar water heating, you want to reduce the amount of water being used, so you decide to go with the low flow faucets, etc. It's a matter of checking some boxes, adjusting some metrics within, and you get to see how much you're saving compared to the baseline model, right? A good example I can give of how it works something more relatable. Assume you have two people who weigh the same amount of they have the same amount of kgs. So we'll name one person X and the other one Y. So for X, you just let them continue living how they live. They eat how they eat, etc, etc, etc. But now for person Y, let's say you want to reduce their weight. You subject them to going to the gym. You subject them to healthy meals. You subject them to the right amount of sleep. You subject them to right mental health treatment, and now you begin comparing their weights over time. So that's kind of how age works in a way, because now for your person X, that's now the baseline. That's what you're comparing to. But for person Y, you're adjusting all these metrics to see what's the effect. Yeah. So that's kind of an easy way of explaining how age works. By the virtue that it was created by IFC, and I've told you the IFC is the private wing of the World Bank, it's aimed at providing the business case for green construction and unlocking sustainable investment. So it will not actually make a lot of business sense if by going green you end up losing a lot of your money without actually now recouping it back. You get, because in business, no one is in business to lose money, and that's why the World Bank decided to create it as a way of creating now a business case. And as we move on, you'll see that you can actually get financing for your home by just using Edge. And you'll get to see why a lot of the big real estate firms in the country and even globally are deciding now to go green, right? It's not only a matter of how will I say? It's not just a matter of them having it in their heart, but also a matter that touches on their financing and how they are being able to grow now their their profitability by meeting now green standards. Edge is recognized in over 170 countries by developers, investors, governments, and also financial institutions. We're talking about your banks and other. We basically call them the PMLs, your primary mortgage lenders. They recognize Edge, and that's good because if it's accepted in over 170 countries, you see now you have a larger latitude of practice with it. So what are the buildings that have used Edge? For this section, there are a lot of buildings that have actually used Edge, and as a practical assignment, I'll I'll challenge you to go and check in the Edge website and see the number of buildings that have actually been certified under this software. So we have a lot of hospitals, because first of all, hospitals need to improve the energy and water efficiency, which helps a lot in lowering their operating costs. I've told you the business case, the business case. Yeah. So if you are a hospital operator, or even if you are a doctor, a nurse, a pharmacist, etc., this software or designing your institution or your facility using this software can help you achieve a lot of operating cost savings, right? Um, and by achieving that, you might even expand. We also have hotels. Um, as I had established earlier, a lot of the younger generation is preferring eco-conscious living, and you'll get to see people prefer eco-conscious lodges or eco-conscious getaways uh, rather than just going to a hotel that does not care about how they're practicing, about how the actions are affecting the environment. So for hotels, hello, am I audible? I'm seeing someone saying they can't hear me. I think, oh, I think maybe it's an issue on the end. Okay, okay. Yeah, so for hotels also, because I've told you, it's not just about construction, it's about the value that now this construction unlocks. So for hotels, if they're able to attract a lot of eco-conscious travelers, then it's a big plus for them. Remember, hotels, for those of you that practice real estate, hotels are very, very, how do we put it? They are very volatile, right? They are very seasonal. So if in the right season you're able to attract a lot of eco-conscious travelers, especially people from Europe and the US, whereby all these sustainability talks began from, then you'll make a great killing. Also, in terms of offices, there are a lot of offices that have adopted Edge as a rating tool, and there are many rating tools. By the way, we have Lead, we have Edge, we have Safari, but there are many offices that I know of currently in the country that have adopted Edge, basically due to its simplicity and the fact that for a lot of offices, especially your grade A offices, the offices that are quite posh, the ones that are located in areas like Giri, moving on to grade B offices in places like Westlands, Kileleshwa. A lot of them are actually being leased by multinationals, right? And a lot of uh, there's a lot of leaning towards carbon, cutting down their carbon in their reports. We've heard about things to do with carbon trading and carbon offsetting. So if, let's say, a company like Microsoft in Kenya decides to lease a green office space, they can be able now to offset that. Yeah, Purple Towers along Mombasa Road. Yeah, it's a grade A EDGE certified building. And people like Purple, if you decide to lease your office space there, you can actually now go back and now offset it in your targets. So in your ESG report, you will tend to get a better score. And people may ask, why is the ESG score quite important? So um, a slight snapshot. So in the financial market, um, a lot of companies are actually funded these days by private equity, right? Um, by this, uh, by this we mean that you see all these asset managers. A good example of an asset manager in Kenya, we have people like Jubilee, we have people like Saiton, etc. So by the fact that these people own large sums of money, they can be able now to finance a lot of the businesses. One huge global asset manager that I'm sure some of you are aware of, there's a company called BlackRock. There is also one called Vanguard. Yeah, so these are big asset managers. And I think by last year, the total value of assets under BlackRock alone was around 66 trillion US dollars. 66 trillion. So you see, that's a lot of money that's the asset managers have. So for majority of now these businesses, let's say a company, let's say like Microsoft, assuming now they want financing, one metric that a financial like an asset manager like BlackRock will look at in order to know whether they qualify for this financing, they look at their ESG score. So is this company performing well in terms of their environment? Are they performing well in terms of their social and governance, all that? And now all this is bundled into a score. So if that company is performing well or has a good ESG score, they are more likely to receive funding from a lot of private equity. If they have a bad ESG score, then they might not receive a lot of funding, or if they receive funding, it will come at very high interest rates or a lot of consensus. So that's why ESG now is important, and that's why you are seeing the company like Microsoft would rather now opt to hire a conference facility that is ESG rated, so that they can offset it in their books, and it will make them contribute to the great cause of of sustainability. We also have residential buildings, so you can reduce your utility bills, especially for homeowners. A lot of the places I've seen this work, especially is in the area of water efficiency. So I think we are all aware of this these flashing toilets, these flash toilets that were that have very huge cisterns. The cistern is that place that holds water before you flush. Initially, they were very, very huge cisterns that I think were flashing around 20 liters per flush. Uh, in more recent times, we begin to see small cisterns that have double flush, that have dual flush capabilities. So if you decide to go for a short call, you don't need 20 liters. You need around 2 liters. So if you press that the first button, it discharges 2 liters, and you're able to save, let's say, 18 liters as opposed to uh, what it was before. We also have educational institutions, and a good example of this is the Aga Khan Institution, whereby they are building a lot of healthy learning environments. I personally went on an edge tour at Aga Khan, and I can tell you, if you study in those classes, there's no way you are failing your exams. It has a very conducive and an ambient environment. Yeah, this is just how green spaces interact with you when you are in them, that you can't explain. They call it biophilia, something like that. Yeah. So educational institutions, by building healthier learning environments, you can separate yourself from the rest of the competition, and by separating yourself, you can even decide to charge more. Yeah. So, what is the government leaning towards currently? So, for starters, the Nairobi offices, the Nairobi City County offices, the ones owned by the governor, um, they were the first ever government institutions to go green in Africa. So this presents shows us the leaning of the government, not only the national government, but also subnational governments towards steering sustainability. I think there's also a county framework surrounding sustainability that is being developed, but more on that later. Um, you'll catch that on my LinkedIn sometime. Yeah. So also, after Nairobi decided to go green, the second county that also went green was Mombasa County. And you can see Mombasa County makes history with major certifications for their green public buildings. You're now starting to see that green buildings are not just a faraway concept. They're right here with us. We also have the Zero Carbon Building Accelerator Program, that was an arrangement between Kenya Green Building Society and Laikipia County, which was in the past, I think it was in their past government, I think in 2022. Yeah, so while I don't think it's currently operational, it presents to you a clear path of where the government is leaning towards. Um, so the three components of Edge that you can see from the presentation is that for starters, Edge has a free software. So by the fact that it's free, it encourages a lot of users to explore the software, and you can actually mess around with it to identify the cost-effective ways to save energy, to save water, and to save materials in your construction. In the Edge software, we also have green standards. So the green standards majorly focus on what we call quantitative data on your energy, water, and embodied carbon in materials. By quantitative, I mean numbers, right? So I want to see what percentage am I saving in terms of energy, right? Is it 20%? Is it 10%? By just clicking a button, let's say on the use of solar energy, you will get to see quantitatively what impact it has on your project. And that's why I say Edge, provided you know where to click and what actions to take, um, it's one of the easiest softwares to interact with. Similarly, there is a verified green label and now Edge, whereby you can go for Edge, Edge Basic, Edge Standard, and Edge, and the largest certification under Edge, which is called Edge Advanced, right? This also is very quantitative, and it depends with the savings that you're making. By it being internationally recognized, it means that if you go to any of the 170 countries that I had mentioned before, and you are an Edge expert, it's very easy to get a job under the same, right? Or even if you are to open up a consultancy, it's very easy to break through. So how does Edge look like? Captain had informed me that not a lot of people are quite conversant or familiar with Edge. So a slight snapshot of how Edge looks like is what you see on the screen. This is a home dashboard for a project, a hypothetical project that I was doing. And you can see that it's very localized. You can see Kenya here, and it goes to show you um, the type of commitment that has gone into creating such a software. It has your environmental data based on where you are from. You get to adjust the metrics, your building sizes, the intended use, and through the algorithms that have been put in place, it calculates quantitatively in real time the energy savings that you're going to make. Um, I had also mentioned that it helps in creating a business case. So you'll get to see the payback period of your actions because a lot of people argue that going green is quite expensive, but that's just the upfront cost. Um, in the long term, you get to realize a lot of savings, and if you do your design well, you will notice a very short payback period. You also you can see we have the energy savings for this project was 62.68%. Water savings were 78%, and material savings were around 28.43%. So a project like this would qualify for the Edge Advanced, right? Yeah. So next, this is basically just a small explanation of how Edge works. I had given you the analogy of you have two people, you are trying to reduce the weight of one and compare it with the weight of the other. So as you can see, we have the energy efficiency measures, and what you basically do, depending on what the the purpose of the building is and what the client needs are, you just you check your boxes and adjust some metrics inside the software. That's what I'll be showing you, and that's what all other instructors will be guiding you towards. You can see here two bar graphs. There is the one on your left, which now is the base case, and now we have the one on your right, which is the one where we have decided to use Edge. So it kind of shows you that baseline comparison. Let me zoom. Yeah, I'm sure you can see it. Yeah, so this one is the base case, and you can see now the improved case. So you can see here we are tracking heat energy, cooking energy, fan energy. If you are implementing active cooling, we have home appliances, and you'll get to see why also for the interior designers, Edge can be quite useful because when you are, let's say you're staging your home and you're staging the appliances, if you decide to go with appliances that are not energy efficient, you might actually fall below now the improved case. We also have common amenities, we have the lighting, hot water, all this stuff is in the Edge software. And as you can see on my left, we have a lot of, we have some metrics that we're adjusting for. For instance, we have the window to wall ratio, we have the reflective paint styles, etc, etc. I don't want to go too much into those details. We'll leave that for another session. Today is just a discovery session. Um, so what are the benefits? What are the benefits of Edge? For starters, we have lower costs. As I've said, if you are operating a residential, you will notice reduced utility bills and operating expenses. This cuts across residential properties, commercial properties, also things to do with hospitals, etc, etc. We get to achieve lowered costs at the same operational efficiency, right? It's also for marketability. Edge properties tend to, or green properties for that matter, tend to attract a lot of buyers these days, tenants and investors. If an investor heard that your portfolio is green, they see the potential of it having a long-term outlook, right? And they are more likely to invest in it. Just as I've told you, the whole concept about private equity and how it plays out into all these conversations, that's how it comes into play. I'm seeing a question, yeah, from Tiffany. Uh-huh. I'll be showing you the process of how to go about using it. But first of all, I'll be showing you how you set up now your project. They are the details that you need to input into your project. For instance, let's go back to the example that I'd given. Your residential bungalow, let's say, assuming it's in a place like Ruiru. So first of all, you'd select it's in Kenya, and the nearest place to Ruiru, you can select Nairobi, and then you begin inputting now the area measurement details, all that stuff. I will be covering it. Today is more of a discovery session, right? Yeah, and it's aimed at now provoking such questions so that you can get to see the benefit of enrolling. We also have green finance access, and as I've told you before, uh, money moves the world, right? So it is next to impossible to do a project that's not backed by finances. So if you certify your building or your construction of your project as Edge, and it aligns with the global ESG and sustainable investment standards, you are likely to get green financing if you apply for it, right? Um, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Acorn Holdings. This is the company behind Kwetu and Kejani, these student accommodations that we call Kwetu. There's one that has been built around KU. There's another one in Parklands, etc. So for a lot of these people, they realize that to get financing for such types of projects, it will not be that easy. So what they have done, they are quite creative with their financing instruments. For starters, they decided to do a debt instrument, which is a bond. They decided to do a bond, and not only a bond, a green bond, right? They decided to go and do a green bond, and they were able to raise their financing because a lot of their projects, a lot of their portfolio is EDGE certified. We also have the issue to do with transparency. By the fact that we have that party verification, it ensures now the credibility of your project. So for a financier, they won't feel as if you are duping them. because they realize that there's third party verification, right? It's like how the job market trusts that every graduate is qualified because there was a third party, that is either your professor who was marking your script, and they attested to the fact that you passed. If it was not that party, assuming now you're marking a script, a lot of employers or institutions will have a very hard time believing that we all passed. Yeah, so it's something along that line. We also have faster certification and edge because the process is quite streamlined and it saves you a lot of time. I'm not quite sure about other certifications, that is lead and the others. But one thing I'm sure of is that Edge is very, very straightforward, very streamlined, and it has a lot of support access, especially in Kenya. A lot of people who want to certify their projects, they do so without receiving a lot of red tape, a lot of bureaucracy. So why should you learn Edge right now? Number one, we have a fast growing job market for sustainability and ESG professionals. I've personally seen a lot of my friends who are much older than me transition now into green jobs. This shows where the market is growing. I've also been in sessions whereby I've seen, let's say, property managers from companies such as Knight Frank, all these international companies. Most of them actually now lean towards now being EDGE certified because majority of them are managing buildings that are being EDGE certified. You get? Yeah. So even if you're planning to become a property manager or getting into real estate, basically, EDGE is one tool that you should consider learning. It also gives a competitive advantage to you as an architect, an engineer, a project manager, a developer, if you want to be a developer in future, a construction manager, a real estate professional, if you want to become a valuer, Edge is here for you. It also gives you the global recognition because the skills that you apply, they cut across many markets and a lot of countries, right? Yeah, so even if you were to move from Kenya, let's say go to a place like Europe or the US, this certification is still relevant. You get, yeah. Also, there's the most important fact that it gives immediate impact. As I had explained earlier, the construction industry is quite a huge emitter of CO2. So by immediate impact, we mean that every project that you certify with EDGE helps in cutting emissions and saves on resources. I remember I think it was a quote I think I saw on LinkedIn or somewhere. It says that when we are using our current resources, we are actually borrowing them from our future generations. So if we decide to be careless with them, you can only imagine what will happen down the line, right? The reason as to why, let's say, we are enjoying, for most of you who like taking nature trails, let's say in a place like Karura, the reason as why we are enjoying such a place is because there was someone like Wangari Maathai who fought for that key part forest to be retained for us. So similarly, for us, we also have a similar responsibility to pass down all these resources to our future generations. So by deciding now to design using Edge, you get to realize immediate impact in your project. In my last slide, it was more of now hammering in that business case for Edge and showing you the recent developments. So earlier in June, I know most of you are familiar with the company called Centum Re. It's a subsidiary of Centum. It's the real estate arm. They got completed a 2.6 billion IFC backed loan that's going for a term of 7 years from IFC. And who have I told you are the people behind Edge? Is the software license? No. It's completely free. It's free. It's a free software. Actually, it's more of a web app, a web application. You see how you go and log into Facebook from your website, from the website, from Chrome. That's how Edge works. Yeah. So Centum Re actually got a 2.6 billion loan from IFC, which is backing. I think there are some units they are doing in Two Rivers. These days they have renamed it to Traffic. So this loan is set to go for a term of 7 years, and that's why I've told you if you want to observe the trends, you check where the money is going towards, right? We also have a company called Mevida, um, who have done quite a redefining development in Garden City. And similarly, they also obtained a green loan. I think it was from, I think HFC, something like that, that enabled them now to continue uh, providing more of these green establishments. Not long ago, earlier this week, Absa Bank Kenya released they released their 2024 sustainability report. But aside from that, the picture that you're seeing there is of Absa, which has rolled out its green home loan, which is the first in Kenya, and it offers 110 financing for you to buy your house, right? So if you want to buy a house and you can demonstrate that that house meets the green targets, ABSA can actually finance 110%, not just 100% of it. So that 10% can help you in your closing costs, etc, right? So you're getting to see whereby you're getting to see the leaning towards now sustainability from a lot of these developers, from a lot of these big financial institutions. And Absa Bank was actually helped. The technical bit was done now by KGBS, which stood in proximity and helped them in now tackling the technical bits of now rolling out this green home loan. I think the people who are from UN, you have your what you call it, ADD. Yeah. So that place, I have also heard that they're deciding to redesign it as a net zero building. So you are getting to see these things are not far from us. Um, the last business palette is of Econ Holdings that I have. Let me zoom a bit. Econ Holdings, yeah. So back last year, I think it was last year on October 23rd, Econ Holdings got to pay off its 5.7 billion green bond 1 month ahead of its official maturity date. So with all this news, it's a no-brainer that if you're a professional moving towards real estate and construction, you should get to learn about sustainability and Edge as a whole. Even if you're in agriculture, I've told you that agriculture contributes the highest to our GDP, and it's the most affected by all these climate change things. So basically, sustainability is the way to go, and I am hoping to see you in the sessions that will be coming. Alice and Captain, I have finished my presentation, and I am welcoming any questions from the audience. It's okay. I allow.
Thank you so much, Bwana Captain. First of all, I would wish we appreciate GE Moratha for the good presentation. That was a great presentation, and I really loved it. Thank you so much, Engineer, for that. Also, thank you so much, Captain, for coordinating this meeting and making it a success. And I also wish to thank you all for joining and making this a success also. So for me, let me introduce myself. My name is Wallace Nditika Kiragu. I'm a construction manager. I'm also an edge expert. Yes, so I'll take you how this idea came about now the GBA, the Green Build Academy. Yes, so everywhere we are talking about sustainability, and I know probably even for some people here, it may be their first time hearing about sustainability, hearing about green buildings, and probably some of us may be wondering what is this. That was me some time back. My interest on green building and all this about sustainability began when I was second year. Yes, second year. That time I'm a construction manager, and that made me a member at ACMK. That year for the student competition, we had the topic was about sustainability. We were supposed to come and present and have talk about something green. Uh, there was all those objectives that we are supposed to be. We are aligning ourselves to those objectives, which were more about sustainability and about green building. That's where my journey in sustainability began. Yes, then at that time through joined KGBS. I think Muratha introduced me to Paul. Paul was heading communication at KGBS at that time. So, and that how I become a member of KGBS. And through KGBS, I have learned and I have grown to understand about sustainability and all about green building. Sustainability is a wide term. Yes, so that's how my journey has been in this area of sustainability. Then, for if Gideon could have told you how much it costed him for him to be an edge expert, it's not something small. And then it is not something small. So the other thing about our industry or about I can say about Africa, I don't know what's wrong with the education system. I don't know. Truly, I don't know what's wrong with the education system. Because for me, that's everywhere outside the school in the industry now. Everybody is talking about going green, about green building, about sustainability. But now, uh, referring Ama going back to school where we are supposed, Ama they are supposed to build the capacity on us now to understand all this, even the new technology that are there the outside for us in the industry. This is something that is never taught in school. And if you if you decide to partake this journey, and as I was telling you about now, like now to be an edge expert is not something that is affordable to all comrade. It's a big cost. It's a huge investment, but on the other side, it's a worthy investment. So, and then I did the edge expert training. Now I sat down and began to think, yes, for me now I'm an edge expert, but now going forward, there's a time where now this is the thing that shall be, and it's not far. It's here. Actually, it's here with us now. Like now, we have started the green financing. I know Kenya are opportunistic. If they can, if here they can get a loan, they can get that green financing because it come at a lower interest. And now you can see, like for ABSA, it's giving you 110% above, over and above your quotation. So now I believe now the future is here with us. Everybody has been saying that we are going green. It's now. It's now. And now for us as the young professionals and to the student, how are you prepared for this? How are you prepared for this? So that's how we came up. I came up with the idea now about GBA, building capacity for the young people, building capacity for the student to be prepared now to face whatever is there outside the classroom, outside the four walls surrounding you. What are you going to meet outside here? Yeah, so I did the training, then I came and sat down. Now, okay, I'm a knowledge expert, but one thing that really I never like this. You hear that we are importing labor. Yes, and Gideon can tell you we have attended forums and conference about green building, about sustainability, and there's always an issue on capacity building. We don't have the manpower, we don't have uh, enough uh, to sustain even whatever the little effort that we are doing. We import labor, but on the other side, for us, uh, everyone is crying that uh, there's no job, there's no job. So that's how GBA came about, empowering now the young profession, the student to get to understand what is there outside and how can they prepare well for that. So GBA, that's the mission, to now to create a society, to create a community for the young people, for the student also to get to understand the new trends, not only in but I believe even the technology, the upcoming technology, they are all leading to sustainability in one way or another. They are building on sustainability. It's promoting sustainability. So GBA is that community now for us as young people, where we can get to understand the new technology that are upcoming and how we can take advantage, that early advantage, so that we need not to import labor. Uh, why? And we have people, we have good brains. We can do all those things that they are coming to do here in Africa. So GBA, that's its mission, to promote uh, and to promote that culture of innovation, and also to promote sustainability in our industry. Yes. So with that vision, one thing, and there's one quote that I really like and I go with. It says that if you find someone smart, don't try to compete. Seek way in which you can collaborate with them. So with that idea, uh, as the I consulted some of my friends, some being the likes of Captain Gideon. I saw Juma was here. I don't know if he's still in the meeting, and others. So I consulted with them and I shared the vision with them. And the other gap that we came to understand is on the technology, and to be specific on the softwares that we are required to have understood before we graduate in preparation for the market. Yes, for us as construction managers, at that time when you are graduating, it is expected of you to at least have understood the project management softwares, the like of Primavera, MS Project. But if you go back to our curriculums, they never emphasize on this great skill. And one thing the schools teachers is about discussing. They never build us to understand the skills that are required outside here. Yes, we know by then we know how to discuss. We know how to discuss, but now applying whatever you have learned, what that skill, that tangible skill, what can you do after school? That's what really matters outside here. So we are never trained adequately on these softwares that are needed outside here. Yeah, so that's the other gap that we identified as GBA. And then, yes, some things, like for me, I could sit in a class and I was wondering, which are these notes I'm writing? How are they building me? And sometimes I could assume even the lecturer as he dictates the notes, because I don't understand how it's building me. Something that you're talking a history about, I don't know which year, and in no way is it building me, is it preparing me for the industry. So that's the system for you. That's the system for you. So for GBA, we came and understood that we have the two gaps. And the first one was on sustainability. There's not that training, that capacity building for the young professionals and for the student to come and understand uh, where the future is going, where as an industry, not only in construction. Like, I believe there's a time where if you can produce something that is green, that has a green label, that it should be at that time, that item ndo itakuwa inauza, it be the highest, ama it to be at the market. Yes, so even for us, for long we have been considered as future leaders. And one thing I'm telling you is that the future is here with us now. It's now our time to lead. We are not young to lead. We can lead. So it's upon us now to see the challenges that we have and try to find solution to those challenges. So yes, basically that's all about GBA. We are building capacity on matter sustainability and also on the softwares. And as we are starting, we are focusing on let me say five softwares. One of them being Edge Tool. If you do wish to learn about Edge Tool, all the dynamics around Edge Tool, all the tools, all for as Gideon presented, you could see there was that energy tab, water tab, material tab, operation. Now each tab has its elements. So we'll be breaking down all the elements for you to understand. Like, you can apply the other thing about green buildings and all about sustainability is not something hard. It's something that it's easy to understand, easy to implement. And to have a green building, even if I know we are coming to build, and even probably building for our parents, you can build that house, even huko ushago, a green building. It's not that complicated. It may seem to be much complicated, but as for those who shall enroll for the courses, you shall come to understand that it's not much complicated, because some things is about taking advantage of the environment that we have. And like for us in Africa, we are much privileged if we consider the weather condition that we experience. The climate around here is much friendly, and for us even to coming up for us for our buildings, even as we come to quantify them in the Edge Tool, you find it easy for us to achieve all the requirement to be credited as a green building. So the softwares that we are training on is, as I was saying, one of them is Edge Tool. And for that, I and Gideon shall be handling that. We shall also have Archicad. But yes, for the others, I know you can say it's a software I can learn by myself. Yes, I can go to YouTube and learn by myself. But now, where GB is making a difference is that by every course, for the other courses, that like for Archicad, you shall not be learning just on the mastery of the tool or the software, but also you shall learn on how you can use that software to come up with a green building, to come up with a green, yes, a green building. Like if I'm learning about the tools in ArchiCAD, how can I incorporate that knowledge, or my understanding of that software to come up with a green building? So it's not only understanding or mastering the tool, but also coming to uh, understand how can I use this tool, how can I use this software to come up with a green building. So we're incorporating the two. Yes. So no, for us and mostly for students, you may say like uh, spending that amount or investing. I call it an investment. Investing that amount by learning that course is a waste. But I tell you, it takes you far ahead, because as Gideon was saying about green jobs, and now for even for the stakeholders, now one thing I know that shall unlock the landscape or the landscape in sustainability here in construction industry. It's about the green financing, because I know people will start running to green financing, and now that's create a market. Who are those now to come up with designs that can meet those criteria to be considered as a green building? Yes, where are those experts? Where are those experts? So for us now, and now one thing, like now for edge tool for Gideon is an edge expert. I'm an edge expert, but let me guarantee you, by taking this course, by taking that edge tool course, you shall come up with the same knowledge that we have. And now the good thing with like the edge tool is not like it require anything from you, any certification. If you understand that skill, if you understand that software and you can use it, you are well and good to go. It doesn't require even like for the other softwares, like for ArchiCAD, there's those, what do we call them? You must be registered. You need the registration, or you use the student version. For H2 is an open tool for everyone and easy to use. Its interface very easy to use. It's not complicated. Yes, so that's about Edge tool. So I was talking now about the other softwares that the other courses that we shall be training on. One of them, as I have said, is ArchiCAD. For those, maybe I know ArchiCAD is used by many people, by architects, and for any person who may be designing. You're not an architect. I can call you a draftsman, but I'm also a draftman. I do draft. I'm a draftman. Yes. So for others, now for ArchiCAD, and now the work environment that we are going to have, the next where we are heading now for the job opportunities, it shall not be about the certification that you have. It's about the skill that you have. What can you do? Like if you can consider maybe an industry like the IT guys, you see now the upcoming of such institute as Moringa. They are not about certification. They are building you to understand the skills, because it's about skills, not about what you got a first class. It's not about the papers, but what that skill that you have mastered. Yes, that's where the workforce in enda, like, you shall not be asked, it shall not be much focus or emphasis on the certification or the grade that you got in school. They shall be considered, but on top of that, what have you mastered? Or you just know, you are good in discussing, but when it comes to offering solutions, you are zero, you are nil. So that's where we are heading. Now, also talking about Akikado, that's one of them, one of the software that we shall be training on. The other one we have PlanSwift. PlanSwift is for the QSS, for taking off, and for the all about measurement. We have a QS who understand the software well, and he is the one who shall be taking us through that. And the same thing as we have said, I know you can learn. We are not the only one who are offering the softwares. I know there are many people offering the softwares outside here. But now, if you take that course with us, GBA, advantage to you is that on top of mastering that software, you shall know how to use that software. Even like for QSs, for Edge Expert, it has a column where it shows the incremental cost goes coming up with a green building at the start. It may be capital intensive compared to the normal way we do, but looking at the long run, it saves you. So there's that where it indicates the savings and how long will it take to bring down for you to recover the first investment that you made. Yes, so that's on PlanSwift. The other software is on Revit, and Revit it's a wide software, and for I believe we cannot cover everything in one cohort. So it shall be progressive. We shall be tackling bit by bit. Our intention is to make sure that you understand that software, you master that software, that you can showcase your mastery in that software when called upon. So that's on Revit. We have one of us. She is an engineer, a graduate engineer. She's called Elion Nyambura. She's the one who should be taking us through Revit. And the other software is on Primavera P6. Primavera P6 is for project management. Yes, and project for the project managers, or to the construction managers, and anyone who would wish to 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 work as a project manager. Now this is the software for you, the Primavera P6. And I know the same thing I'm saying. You can learn the same skill anywhere. You can access it for free. But now, how is it? How are you different from the others? How are you different from the others? And now, being one of us, if you partake that course, how you shall be different from another person is that you shall know how to make sure that this software, you have mastered the software, but you can apply it now and in a green building. Yes, so those are the software that we are offering. We have Edge Tool, we have Archicad, we have PlanSwift, we have Primavera P6, and we have Revit. Yes, for the 5 softwares. And we have limited slots. We have not started the enrollment, but for us to give maximum value, we just limited ourselves to 20 students per course. Yes, like even for you to have that room to question where you have some question. Yes, so the better you enroll, the better for you, but also for the others who may not be in a position to enroll for the first cohort, we have subsequent cohorts that shall be following. Yes, basically that's about the software that we'll be training on. The other thing about GBA we said is a community. It's a community for all of us, for the young professional, especially for the young professionals, and for students to come and understand all these things, all these technologies, all these the new things that are being introduced in our industry. So on that, we shall also be hosting webinars, because as we said, sustainability is a very wide topic. It's a very wide topic, and there are different niche, and so we shall be hosting based on different topics, and which for each topic we shall be finding out an expert in that topic who shall come and tackle that topic. So now, why are we doing this? Is for us now to understand the different parts that are there for you as maybe someone interested in sustainability. So you get to understand, okay, I feel I'm much aligned to this niche. And so if you get to realize that, like for me, I believe uh, what sometimes limit us is lack of information, lack of that awareness. I remember in my first year, my first semester, we were being told to to come up now with now we are construction managers. We need now to come up with the drawings, to come up, yes, to draw some houses. So, and for us, you could just draw a three room house, because that's what you're used to. Yes, pale ushago kila mtu ana everybody they are construct a three room house. So that's your level of exposure. But now, and I believe that's where we do have the case studies where you get to refer and you get to learn from such project that are similar to whatever you are doing. Yes, so now I believe by us having that those webinars, and they shall be free. Those webinars shall be free. We shall get to understand this big term being dropped everywhere, sustainability, and we get to understand the different areas of sustainability. And for you now, you can identify that area, that niche that you would wish to focus on and to learn more on, and to become even a master expert in that area. So that's the other thing that we shall be doing. The other one, we shall be engaging with stakeholders, because there are those stakeholders in the industry, probably like for materials, who are coming up with now the green materials. We have even the green technology and the new technology that we are having now in the current age. So we shall be organizing, like I can call them site visit to such areas, and we shall be making the communication in good time for our arrangement to know, even for facilitation, how it shall be. So that's the other thing that we shall be doing. We shall be having, let me call them site visit, where we shall be getting to understand the green technologies and probably the green materials, the green technology that are being introduced in the industry. The other thing that GBA shall be doing, probably you are there as a young graduate, as a student, you have an idea uh, on how, or maybe you like, is it Meru University? They are coming up with a cement that it will emit less carbon, and is eco-friendly in a way. So now that may be you come up with a technology, you come up with a new innovation, but you don't know where to how to develop it. So for us as GBA, we have that what that 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 area whereby we shall be promoting the new innovations from our members. How shall we be doing this? We shall probably getting to in touch you with a mentor, probably in the same area, who can help you or she can help you, or who can help you in in understanding in building in enlarging and building up on your innovation. So that's another thing that GBA shall be focusing on. Yes, and I believe that's all about GBA. Yes, and whatever, I always say that GBA is not about me, is not about anyone. It's a community for us all, and I believe we can own this thing. Yes, ikuwe ni yetu, we own it. Like if you have something, by that we shall be very open. If you have something, and even for those who would wish to do advocacy, maybe by writing articles on green stuff, sustainability, because we shall be having even a newsletter, such thing. We can be having your articles published with us. We can also be sharing whatever you have on our socials. Yes, for like, I believe, as I said, there's that article that what is it, a proverb that motivates me, that if you find someone smart, don't compete. And that's what have been implanted in us since our primary school, that it's like we are in competition. The exams, you're always finding, is always about ranking. Yes, and the one who comes number one feel superior to the other, but it shouldn't be like that. One has a special gift. No, there's something I know that captain may not be aware of, and he may know something that I don't know. But if we come together, and if we come together, I believe it shall be of much profit to both of us. So that's the spirit I'd wish that as young professionals we embrace such spirit, that we seek ways which we can collaborate. Like now for me as GBA, I don't know how could it be if I couldn't have consulted with the other partners that we are working together with. Yes, it could just remain a dream that may probably wouldn't have seen the light of day. Because for us to reach where we are, it's a journey. It's been a journey, and a time where we felt like we give up this thing, but we thank God we are here today. Yes. So what am I missing? Okay, as I maybe to mention on that, we shall also be publishing a monthly newsletter. Yes, to highlight and also for you to understand what's going on in our industry. Yes. The other thing I've said about site visit webinars, and also on innovations. The other thing about GBA is there. I feel like I'm missing something. Okay. Oh, probably now to highlight how is our schedule, how we are we are planning to go forward, the outlook for us going forward. So this is our first webinar, and it's an introduction webinar. We shall be running such webinar for this week, and come next week for the 2 weeks we shall be running such webinars. Yes, and the other thing I would wish to appreciate, even for those who may be ahead of us in the industry, we have a great support from them. Like now, I've said we shall be having such webinars in this week and coming week. So like for next webinar, we shall be happening on Wednesday. We shall be hosting Engineer Rita. Engineer Rita is a KGBS board member. Yes, and for her, she has much exposure. she has been in the industry for a time, and also now she is in this space on sustainability. So for her, she shall come to guide us on also to on a larger, maybe for us hatuoni mbali, hatuoni, maybe we may not be having the full vision, but for her, since she has been there in the industry and now she's seeing the new technology that are coming, so for her, she'll give us a better view, a better understanding on how it looks. Yes. Thank you so much, Ida, for your question. I will be answering that. So that's on Wednesday. We shall have that guest lecture on sustainability in built environment. Then on Friday, we shall have a webinar by our tutor, one of our tutors. He's called Juma. He is a construction manager. Now he shall be taking us through ArchiCAD. But also, as we said, that we shall not be learning only on ArchiCAD, but we shall be integrating it with matter sustainability to know how you can use that tool to come up with a green building. No, so we shall be considering things on green design principles, which you need to know as you do your design. Then on Monday next week, we shall have our tutor who shall be taking us through Plan Swift. Yes, that's on Monday. Then on Wednesday, come next week on 20th, we shall have our tutor now taking us through Revit. Then on Friday, come next week, we shall have our tutor take us through Primavera P6. Then we shall have that 1 week to accommodate anyone else and also to have an in-order arrangement for the student before we start for our first cohort, which shall be starting on 1st September. 1st September is when we shall be starting the actual training now on the softwares. And yes, so that's on. So for you, if you wish to enroll in any of the courses now, as that's the outlook. So you shall get to hear from, as now Gideon has tackled Edge tool, and I believe now at least you know the Edge tool, and if you may have interest, probably you may have ranged, and after, I believe after now this series, we call it the course kickoff series, you would get to understand which software you may be interested in. Yes, so and so during the 2 weeks and now the other week, you can I believe that's adequate time for you to prepare and now to know which software you may wish to partake. Yes, now there's that question that Tiffany has asked: how long will the course be? So for the course, we shall be having it shall be running for 4 to 5 weeks. There are those that shall be running for 4 weeks, and the other ones shall be running for the 5 weeks. So the course duration shall be 4 to 5 weeks. And let me tell you, we have taken a lot of time to make sure that we are giving value. Yes, actually, it shall be like a marathon, and probably you may wish to join us, but if you fail to probably join by first week, and even if you miss your first week, because for you to get the final certificate, it shall not be easy for you to get the certificate. We are trying to make sure that you have understood all that we shall be learning. You have mastered that skill. So for you to get that final certificate, there are assignment every week, and for you to get that certificate, you must have submitted all the assignment at the stipulated time. All those assignments shall be having a deadline, and if you miss the deadline, you may miss your certification, your final certificate, because we shall be offering the certificate at the end of the courses. Yes, so that's the outlook for GBA, and I believe GBA is here to empower us as young professionals and for students. And I believe if you can embrace it, you shall be different from others. You shall be different from others, and you shall be prepared now to for the industry, because at least you know something. And I believe also you can by mastering, if you master a skill and you understand that skill, it doesn't require you like need to be through with school for you to start capitalizing on that software. So if you master that skill, I believe and I guarantee you, if you by the way, if you get to master to do what, to understand yourself well, you can start even earning from the skill that you have earned, because the job market, the outlook of the job market is on the skill that you have, not on the papers that you have, but what can you do. Yes, so that's the outlook, and for me, I wish to stop at that point. Yes, and back to you, Captain. Maybe we can welcome some questions. Okay, I see there's one question by JM Karaoke. He is asking, could there be accommodation study plans for guys that enroll while taking another course simultaneously? Yeah, okay. For us, you cannot enroll in two courses at the same time. For us, we are not. We are trying to make sure that, and I believe if you have that, you have your focus is much diverse. You cannot come to understand, ama you cannot master well if compared if you focus just on one thing. So probably you may be enrolled in another course probably at the time being, and but you cannot enroll in two courses at GPA. You need to enroll one course per time. Yes, JM Pro, you can unmute. We get to hear your question well. Yes, please. If you are talking, you are on mute.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I meant like if you have a course in another institution, like you are in a day group module, and now you enroll in one of the courses in GBA.
Okay. Did I get your question well? like you are enrolled in another. Okay,
let's
it's about
say
training.
okay, let's say
Mhm.
I'm a student
Yes.
studying QS
Okay.
and in technical university.
Okay.
So if I could enroll for, let's say, a Revit course at GBA,
Mhm.
and as I have heard, it is a marathon.
Mhm.
So I was asking if there could be plans that would um, I don't know how to put it. Yani hazita clash pamoja. I learn maybe the Revit course like for 2 days or 3 days a week in suitable hours.
Okay.
A plan like that.
Okay.
That was what I was asking.
I get your question now. So it's a marathon, but what we mean by marathon is not that we shall be having session every day. And also, if you get to miss a session, this recording, we have the recording. You can learn at your own pace. Maybe the pace I believe we learn differently. For maybe how I understand is different from another person. So the pace which the lecturer may be using may not be suitable to you. So we shall be having the recordings, and you can access the recordings after the class. For any reference, we shall also be sharing the materials. Yes. So if you wish to maybe to refer back, you can access the recordings. Yes. I don't know if I have answered your question, JM. Thank you so much. Yes, Captain.
Thank you so much, Captain. Thank you to everyone who's made time to come, and thank you, Wallace and Gideon and Captain, for organizing this. It's been very informative, and I'm just really appreciative of the course that you're doing. So my question, I don't know if it was answered before, but it was concerning the Edge tool. Like, what protocol does someone observe to officially use the tool in their projects? And I hope that question is clear. Yeah, that was my directed to GE Gideon. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I had seen the question, and majorly, there is no, I'd say, it's not that much of a protocol as much. It's more of sort of a framework, or sort of I'll just show you guys how you go about now inputting the metrics, how you get to input your data inside the software. It is more of a, it's more, you see, of kind of how we normally use ChatGPT. Yeah. For instance, let's say you are doing your research, you want to use ChatGPT. So the Edge software is more of a companion in design. So you can decide to do your design in Revit, in AutoCAD, etc. All these softwares. So for Revit, it's the soft for sorry, for Edge, it's the software where you will be making your adjustments to see how including, let's say, solar panels around, let's say, 3 solar panels in your residential, how will it affect your building? How will including low flow faucets, how will including the dual flush toilets reduce your water usage and improve your water efficiency? Yeah, so think of it as you're doing your design, let's say, in a software like Revit, AutoCAD, but
Mhm.
now for the nitty-gritties of your building, um, that software helps you now simulate. It's more of a simulation.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I hope I've answered it.
Thank you for that clarification. Just a follow-up question
Uh-huh.
concerning the EDGE certifications. How will one officially get that certificate to, if it's going to be the GPT use, then I just like to understand the
Okay.
end from it. Yeah.
Okay, the GPT was more of an analogy. It's not
It's
that you're asking it because things, it's like a
mm,
helper.
yeah,
You know,
sure.
like how you want to write something, how you want you guys to do your project nowadays, and then you ask GPT to do your outline.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's more of a helper, and it helps you in the delivery. It simulates how you will include in your project.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Alice had something to add.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much, Gideon. I think Gideon has tackled that well. But also maybe to add up on, yes, one good thing about the Edge tool is open to everyone, open to everyone. But now, how well are you conversant with it? How well are you conversant with that software? So for Edge tool, iko na mahesabu nyingi in the background. But also now, to understand, like for the energy tab, it has different measures, and you need now to understand the different measures. Like for ChatGPT, ChatGPT is a big tool, and there are people who are making big money out of it because they know how to use it well. Yes, maybe for us, maybe for some of us may be that proficient with it, but now, okay, you can for Gil, you can just type IFC Edge tool kwa in any of your which the nini you use for searching. Yes, back to Tiffany. So as I was saying, you need to master the tool. You need to master the tool. You need to understand all the measures and how all the OIT, all it takes for each measure. Yes, so that's basically now what we shall be doing at GBA for you to understand now the measures. We shall be tackling each measure by each measure. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, nimeelewa.
Okay, so for me, I would like to first of all thank the Lord for this opportunity to share what we had with you. I'd also like to thank my friends Wallace and Captain. I'm also for stewarding this whole activity. And lastly, I would like to thank all of you for your patience and in listening to us and listening to the vision. And I'm hoping to see you, all of you, in the upcoming sessions. That's it for me.
Okay, I think I'm next. So also for me, I would wish to thank God, because if it's not Him who has taken us from the first step from even giving us this idea, ni mkono yake, na I acknowledge his hand over this. From where it began, there's a time we felt like giving up, but ni God manze, ni God manze. Fali tumefika, we acknowledge his strength, we acknowledge his giving us that strength and that courage and that even that wisdom to keep on pushing. Yes, and also I would wish to thank these great members, these great people that believe in this vision. Yes, the likes of Captain Gideon, Juma, and all those who have believed in this vision. I'm much humbled, because telling someone and kuona that whatever you are saying is making sense is really a motivation to me. So I wish to thank you all. Also, for those who have made it to this first webinar, I'm much humbled. May God bless you. May God bless you. May He keep you safe till we meet again on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we shall have another session. Maybe probably I'm talking much. Let me hand over to Captain. Atatuambia much about that.
I had raised my hand nikaona Gideon amere. Sawa, thank you. Yes, I'm also very grateful for all of you for making time for this. As let's bow our heads for the prayer as we close the meeting. Our dear Heavenly Master, we come before you today, thanking you for the gift of life. Thank you, God, for bringing us together tonight, dear Lord. Thank you, Lord, for what we have learned concerning the EDGE tool and the GBA in general, dear Lord. I'm praying that we may rest on it and fully understand, and wherever we may have questions, dear Lord, may we not hesitate to ask the relevant protocol, dear Lord. I'm so thankful for each and every one of us, dear Lord. I'm praying that whatever we may have learned, dear Lord, may you help us to understand it, and may we each enroll and create time for this amazing course that has been planned before us. May you go ahead of each and every one of our plans, and even as we retire to our beds, may you grant us sweet dreams and a good night rest. And for the week, dear Lord God, may you just be with us, guide us, and protect us. Go ahead of each and every one of our plans. this short prayer, dear Lord, I pray, trusting and believing in your mighty name. In Jesus' name, amen. No. Good night.
Yes, on Wednesday we shall have a session, and it shall be happening from 3 to 4. We shall have someone who at least who has been in the industry for some time, and he shall come to give us the outlook on how sustainability is. Yes, so thank you so much. Wishing you a blessed night.